But if Donny van der Beek is there, and he's cost £40 million, and he's got Champions League experience and international experience, then I think you might squeeze a little bit more out of Paul Pogba. And I think that's exactly the scenario that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants. And hopefully, with the Dutchman arriving, he gets. Now, we could have been live at the Eiffel Tower tonight, but thankfully for my wallet in particular, PSG just missed out, of course, to Bayern Munich, and a certain Canadian hero got his hands on that Champions League trophy. Welcome to another edition of Shootout. As always, alongside me, live from Toronto, the one, the only Greg Brady, who's just about, Greg, getting your voice back after an incredible couple of weeks.
Yeah, huge steps forward for soccer in Canada and huge steps forward for the Champions League and for Bayern Munich. I've already seen a few Davies shirts on the streets of Toronto I didn't see 6 months ago. So the impact is a big one, and it's only going to keep growing.
Fantastic. It's a brilliant story. We've all enjoyed being part of it and bringing that to you on DAZN. Can Jose Mourinho lead Tottenham to a trophy this season? What are your thoughts, Greg?
Well, absolutely. If we're talking about capabilities for Jose Mourinho, he's a proven winner and he's done it before. But I think the expectations for Spurs are higher. And I can lay out why he's probably going to be successful the year with or without a trophy. Do you think he lifts a trophy this year, Steve?
No, I don't think he lifts a trophy. Although I would have to say the way certain clubs might treat the Carabao Cup because of this particular season, because of COVID-19 and the shortened season, might help him, which of course was his first trophy at Chelsea, was his first trophy at Manchester United, and I think that might be one that he targets, possibly with the Europa League as well, that he also won at Manchester United, which was in fact his last trophy. Yes, he's a serial winner, and yes, we know about his unbelievable record wherever he has been, but I just think this is his biggest challenge by far, Greg.
So much went wrong for Tottenham in 1920. I've got to believe it gets better. The Champions League, vitally important. It's not like you have to choose one or the other. Your focus is to win football matches no matter what. Getting back to the Champions League worth a lot more money long-term for Daniel Levy, for everybody at the club, than winning an FA Cup this year.
Absolutely. You've got to get Harry Kane happy, fit and firing. Otherwise, Tottenham won't be near any of the things we're talking about. Dele Alli is another one who's fallen off the cliff, not even in the current England squad when he was a starter in the World Cup 2 years ago. Lo Celso was one he got playing as well. Son obviously has made giant strides. He has to get a smile on those Tottenham players' faces. He can't go out and buy big 50, 60, 70 million pound players. He cannot do that. He has to wheel and deal, and he has to manage and squeeze, like I say, a little bit like he did very, very at the start of his journey at Porto, every ounce out of those players, get them together, get them the unity to get close to any of the targets we're talking about, Greg.
I think even a mediocre year for Spurs, a non-Champions League finish, out early in the cup competitions, and you still have to stick this out because it's a real process here at Spurs, and you don't want to be paying managers over and over again to sit on the sidelines.
It's a huge season, personally, and for Tottenham, for Jose Mourinho. But one man who still thinks Jose is the special one is one Ted Lasso.
You must identify players you can rely on.
Okay, I got you. Yeah, so if coaching a team was like making a movie, I got to find my Tom Hanks. I got it.
Sure with that, sure.
Good. Okay, this is very helpful. I tell you what, you really are the special one. That's a heck of a nickname, too, by the way. Who gave that to you?
They said it was me.
You gave yourself your own nickname? And it worked? I love that, man. I can never pull that off. No, I tried back in grade school to have all my friends and classmates call me Turbo. Now, I never could get it to stick. Kind of broke my heart a little bit.
And don't forget, you can catch every episode of Ted Lasso on Apple TV. Next up on Shootout, with the impending arrival of Donny van der Beek, have Manchester United now got the best midfield in the Premier League? What do you think, Greg?
I don't think it's there yet. Certainly a work in progress, and there's so much to be excited about at Old Trafford. Bruno Fernandes, how can anyone say a bad thing about him? More involved in goals than any other player in the Premier League since he debuted back in February. We can't wait to watch him play for a full season. But I think they're just a little ways away. I think it's another club, but I want to find out who you think it is. Best midfield in the Premier League.
Well, I think that's a difficult question because it has to be a comparable situation, Greg. If I give you a tactical breakdown, Van der Beek Pogba and Bruno Fernandes in a midfield three, I don't see starting together on a frequent basis, to be perfectly honest with you, purely because of the type of players they are. To quote the sort of the tactical side of it, a number 6, a deep-lying, sitting midfield player, none of them are. Yes, Pogba can do it. Van der Beek can probably do it. Fernandes isn't that type of player. I don't see Ole Gunnar Solskjaer paying that amount of money to suddenly disrupt the balance of his midfield. Yes, maybe if they're playing a newly promoted team, West Brom at home at Old Trafford, he might unleash all three with a front three in the hope of outscoring a newly promoted team, for instance. But if they're playing a Liverpool, a City, an Arsenal, a Chelsea, they have to have a sitter. They have to have a Matic. They have to have a McTominay. And then, to be honest with you, I see 2 of those 3 being in that midfield. And I think the word balance is important. And when you look at Liverpool, who have Fabinho, and they've got Jordan Henderson who can sit in there as well and allow the other midfield players to play. Manchester City having a rich vein of talent in that form. Of course, Rodri played most of the season, and that allows you De Bruyne's, your Foden's, your Mahrez's, David Silva in the past, Bernardo Silva to go and play. So I think when you look at, and Kante was the best at it, of course, in that Chelsea team and Leicester that won the Premier League. So I think when you look at the 3 of them, it'll be interesting, Greg, to see how often they all 3 start in the same team.
Midfield to me is not just, on the attack. It's not just being being able to protect a 1-0 or 2-1 lead. It's winning on the ball battles. It's being able to create turnovers. It's being able to stop, if you will, a rush and either push a ball out of bounds or push someone to the side. Youth soccer coaches say it all the time. Don't play the ball up the middle. Use the side when you're defending. Use the middle when you're attacking. And Man City does that so well. De Bruyne can play almost anywhere. And I know it's still that pipe dream and it hasn't come to fruition yet. But if you add Messi to that midfield, I think our conversation's over.
The one thing I would say about Manchester United and Donny van der Beek, Greg, he's a young player. He's a player who's impressed, obviously, playing for Ajax and that wonderful run to the semi-finals of the Champions League, where they had their hearts broken in the last second, of course, in the semi-final by Tottenham. He has that top-level experience. He's first picked for the Netherlands national team as well. And you mentioned Paul Pogba. And I think since Paul Pogba came back, he's been invigorated because of Bruno Fernandes. We've had that conversation before. But I also think at the back of his mind, he's so good that when he turns it on, he knows he plays. And if he looks to the bench and he looks to the side, who's going to play instead of me? And the answer is nobody, because you wouldn't put a Pereira, a McTominay, a Matic, a Fred, a Juan Mata in the current squad. But if Donny van der Beek is there, and he's cost £40 million, and he's got Champions League experience and international experience, then I think you might squeeze a little bit more out of Paul Pogba. And I think that's exactly the scenario that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants. And hopefully, with the Dutchman arriving, he's got real, genuine competition for places, even for a World Cup winner, even on his day, one of the best players in the world, might see someone there as a threat for their position. And when you go back to the great teams, 3 or 4 of them, that Sir Alex Ferguson built, most famously, of course, with a treble in 1999, he had that in every single position on the pitch. Whether it was David Beckham, Ryan Giggs, Andy Cole, Jaap Stam, they all knew there was someone sitting over there who could come into that team and the standard of that team wouldn't drop. So much intrigue. The big names, even more of them, are beginning to arrive in the Premier League. And of course, you will see them all on DAZN. One final segment on today's show celebrates an iconic soccer jersey. Puma have just released the brand new soccer jersey for the Italian national team. It's available now, so we thought we'd have a little bit of fun and ask the question, who is the best player ever to wear that iconic top? It's a tough one, Greg.
Steve, I've got a heart and head answer here. So my heart answer is Paolo Rossi. 1982 World Cup, I'm a little boy. It's the first time we get to see every World Cup match. Some of the matches are tape delayed. I'm staying up late. And they were terrible in the first round. They had 3 draws. They drew against Poland and Peru. How does that happen for the Azzurri? But then they pick it up, and he's fantastic. He's absolutely remarkable in the elimination. They go to a group with Brazil and Argentina. Rossi's great. But that's my hard answer. My head answer, Roberto Baggio, Steve. I look at him and I go, though there wasn't the great international moment, he was a soldier through and through. 2 goals in the semifinal at USA 94. And he gets blamed, Steve, for the fact that the World Cup final in 94 was terrible. I mean, those players have never even rewatched it. Not even the victorious Brazilian team. It was a 0-0 draw out in Los Angeles in the most boring World Cup final we've ever seen or hope to see again. But it's Roberto Baggio for so many reasons.
And who could forget that haircut as well? And I always like to try and pick goal scorers in debates like this. This is an impossible one. And as we're talking the great Italy teams, it has to be a player who helped keep balls out of the net. I mean, Buffon is the obvious one. Baresi was brilliant. Cannavaro lifted the World Cup. But there's only one for me. And it probably goes with his good looks, his charm. I believe he's got his own fashion label as well. It's Paolo Maldini. He played till he was 41. 25 years a pro, 25 trophies, 5 times Champions League winner, 126 caps for Italy, 8 seasons as captain. He was the iconic figure. He just commanded everything. And it looks a beautiful kit as well. The only problem you and I might have is a rather tight-fitting one, so we might just have to go a size up, Greg. The new Puma kit is out for the Italians. The Premier League is not too far away. We cannot wait. And remember, the home of the Premier League for you is only on DAZN.